Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a makeup tutorial for you, and it is going to be using the new Anastasia NORVINA palette. This palette kind of surpassed my expectations, but for this tutorial and for the first look with this palette, I wanted to do something really soft because I feel like that's the kind of vibes that I get when I first look at this color layout. I think this palette is perfect for those of you who like the really soft, girly looks. I think this is a great look for a date night or even just like a daytime look for my clients, especially maybe like an engagement photo shoot. Even bridal, I did something with really light colors that are pretty neutral. They should go with pretty much any color of outfit. Of course, I wanted to stick with the lilac theme here, so I'm wearing, can barely see it, but a little bit of a lilac color dress just to stick with the purple vibes. I for sure think this is one of my favorite palettes that they've come out with. Subculture was a flop for me, and Soft Glam was nice, but I mean, obviously they're colors that we all pretty much already have, but I can still appreciate it. But for sure, this one was really fun, and I think this is one of my new favorite palettes. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then of course, just keep on watching. And high up in the sky, oh, it's the way you make me feel so good. So to start off this look, I'm going to be priming my face with the Pixie Rose Flash Balm. This is a really hydrating moisturizer and or primer. You can use it for either or. My skin is typically on the oily side, but I wanted a really nice, soft, dewy finish with my foundation and my overall face for this particular look. I'm just smoothing this over with my fingers. Next, I'm going to be going in with the Milani Conceal and Perfect foundation. I'm using the shade 4. I usually range between the shade 4 to 5 when I am tan. I wasn't super dark here, but I did have a little bit of a self-tan still. So just to match my skin tone, I did go a bit darker in this shade. I am applying this with the Sigma Beauty 3D HD Beauty Sponge, and I'm using the flat rounded edge of it to apply. For concealer, I'm using my favorite Tarte Shape Tape. I am in the shade Light Sand here. Again, this is more of like my tan color. It is still very bright, but me personally, I like a really bright under eye these days, like really bright, and that's why I went a little bit lighter probably than I normally would in the past. I also applied a little bit on the center of the forehead. I'm taking the same sponge to just blend that into the foundation. As you can tell, my brows were already done before starting, so I'm going to be extra careful not to mess them up. I think for those of you who do brows first, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like we have to be super precise as to not mess up the brows that we work so hard for. To set everything, I am using my Beauty Bakery Flower Setting Powder. I am using the lightest shade that they offer. I can't remember what it's called, but it's called like a translucent shade, but obviously it has a little bit of like a white color to it. I really love this powder for baking. It does an excellent job of brightening up my under eye and keeping it nice and flawless and matte all day. I'm basically just applying that where I applied concealer, which is under my eyes, on the center of my forehead, and just a little bit on my laugh lines because I do tend to get a lot of creasing there because of my dimples also. Next, I'm going to set the rest of my face with the Bare Minerals Foundation Powder. I want to say I'm using the shade Dawn here. I could be wrong though. I don't think it's Dawn. It might be Warm Natural. And I'm using their foundation powder brush as well. I am just going to be kind of lightly tapping this onto the areas where we didn't bake, because even though I want a soft look, I want this to have a little bit of longevity, and setting the rest of my face with powder really helps with that. Then for bronzer, I am using the MAC and Aaliyah bronzer collab that they did collection on it. It's a really pretty shade. It's pretty universal. I think if you are like a medium light to tan, you would benefit from this bronzer. I'm applying this all over the perimeter of my forehead and also the hollows of my cheeks. This is going to be our contour as well. I'm only going to use bronzer today. I'm not going to use a contouring palette. Like I said, I wanted to keep this look pretty soft, and I think using just bronzer on its own, especially like a nice shade like this that has just a slight bit of shimmer but not super glittery nor too matte, adds like that nice natural glow, and yet you can still chisel out your features. Of course, for me, no makeup look is complete without a little bit of a nose contour, so I'm definitely going to be doing that as probably my biggest contour part of this whole look. And then for highlight, I'm using the Anastasia, Beverly Hills, and Nicole Guerrero highlight palette collab. So I'm applying that on the tops of my cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose to complete the nose contour, Cupid's bow, and that little dip right in between my eyes where my nose begins. For blush, I am using this Bare Minerals blush. I pretty much love all of their blushes. They're pretty matte and they just have really nice neutral colors. I am applying this with a Morphe tapered brush, which is my new favorite way to apply blush on myself these days. I just feel like it gives just that nice subtle hint of color. And then for my lips, I am using my Tarte lip paint. I believe this is the shade Besties, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of my favorite shades because it's very neutral and pretty much goes with any makeup look. So for the eyes, I'm going to be going into the NORVINA palette. I'm using the Morphe 511 brush, and I'm taking that first shade right there, kind of just building up the crease and darkening it just so we can get a good frame going on. My favorite part to start is the crease because I feel like I don't have a really prominent crease, so for me it really helps just like hollow out my eye a little bit and kind of create a general shape. I am taking this all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner and just really taking my time with blending. I'm going in circular motions, and then as I begin to work my way up closer to the brow, I start to go back and forth without any extra product on my brush just to kind of begin that fade. With my Morphe M515, I am taking this shade, which is a little bit darker and grayer and more cool tone. And this brush itself is a lot smaller because I'm going to be doing like a spotlight kind of effect. So I want the inner and outer corner to be darker. So I'm lightly dusting this color onto the outer V and inner C of my eyes just to give that little bit of a contrast. When we put the lighter color in the center, it's really going to give like that more rounded out appearance. So I'm taking a mixture of two. I'm using Wild Child and Dreamer. I'm first going to go in with Dreamer with just a regular eyeshadow brush, nothing in particular. You can even use your finger and patting this onto the center of my eye and then topping it off with Wild Child just to give it more of like that pinky hue. And just to smooth everything out, I'm just taking that blending brush we first used with no additional product and just kind of working the little fallout area that we had above really lightly. I just tapped on lightly some MAC Reflex Translucent Pink, just very, very little, just to give a little bit of a dimension. With the Sigma E20 smudging brush, I am taking that deep red maroon shade and just lining my waterline, or the root of my lashes really, on the bottom part of my eye. I'm not going to put any eyeliner on the inside, again, just to add to keeping this look really soft. And I'm going to be layering on that grayish tone that we used on the outer V and inner C of the eyes just to help smoke it out. I find that this red color is really flattering. I think it kind of gives it a little bit of edge without being too dramatic. I'm then taking the highlighting palette again and highlighting my brow bone and my inner corner, which I'm really getting into highlighting my brow bone these days. I feel like I stopped that for a while and I've just like really been loving it again. So for the liner, this is my favorite liner at the moment. This is from Pretty Vulgar. It is their black gel liner. It is one of the best gel liners I have used in a long time. You guys know I've been using the Maybelline gel for quite a while already. I have it in my kit, but this has totally replaced it. One, the package is like huge. It's a huge jar in my opinion for a gel liner. Two, it's very creamy and very smooth. And three, once it's set and dried, I've had no issues with it smudging, running, transferring, none of that stuff that we tend to run into with liners, unfortunately. So for me, it's really good. So I mapped out my wing with it first, and then I'm going to take my Pixie felt liner pen and just connect from the wing all the way across my eyelid and basically fill in the wing. This is basically how I do my wing. I like to map out the wing first, and then I'll just take what other eyeliner I want to use and just kind of align my eye. Since I have a bit of a hooded eye, it's a little bit trickier for me, which is why I like to do my wing first, because I get to kind of map out where I want it to lay, and I'm not going to lose it once I open my eye. So if you are hooded eyed like me, maybe try this step. For lashes, I am using the style Mesmerize from Enchanting Beauty Cosmetics, which are so perfect for this look because not only are they really nice and long, but they're not extremely full or heavy. They're just like that perfect flirty lash. I think that would just make your eyes look dazzling. And then of course topping it off with some setting spray from Mary Kay. So this is the completed look. That is the end of this tutorial. I hope you guys liked it. Please tag me if you do recreate this look. I love to see y'all's recreations. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I am hosting giveaways more often, so you don't want to miss out on that. And of course, hit the little bell to be notified when I do have new uploads. So that's basically it. I'll see you guys in my next video.